about what the impact has been of the contraction, of this recession thus far, and what are you anticipating going forward?
Okay. Well, first, there is this convergence of negative factors: the influenza, the economic crisis, the dependence of Mexico's economy to the U.S. economy. 85% of our trading is done with the United States. 85. So whatever happens here, it has a big impact on our economy. To recover, we need U.S. economy to recover. For instance, automobile exports of Mexico, which basically are to the United States, 48% down the last 2 months. So that affects jobs, that affects income, that affects exports, that affects dollar income.
These the auto parts for the big three?
Both finished automobiles and auto part industry. Mexico's a big supplier of automobiles to the U.S. market through the own American companies, through GM's factories in Mexico, Chrysler's, Ford's. Of course, there is Volkswagen's and Mercedes-Benz and BMW's. Mexico is a huge manufacturer of automobiles. And yes, that affects severely. Now, together with that, we have another problem. And I don't want to be pessimistic and show pessimism here, because we'll come along, and we have come along in the past, but we have a problem also with oil, because the oil industry in Mexico is the only one remaining as a state monopoly in the world. Nobody else has total control of government and a monopoly on energy sources but Mexico. Not even Cuba, nor China, nor Russia, nobody.
And what prevents that from being changed?
Opposition. No, there's a huge paradigm. When the oil industry was nationalized way back 1936 or 1938 by Lázaro Cárdenas president, it became a paradigm. And nobody moves away from that. That's sacred, and it's a paradigm. We've been trying. Calderon has been trying to change that, but we've been minority government. When we reached power in 2000, we've been minority government. Control of Congress always been in hands of the opposition, and they just have not permitted for this to change. And imagine those over $70 billion that have to be invested every year in drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, in deep waters, money that we don't have, that government doesn't have. And so the wise decision should be to open the industry for private investment, not to nationalize or not to privatize, but to open to associate public and private investment, which is a magic formula that really works and works everywhere in the world. But we haven't been able to take that decision.
It's a political problem.
Basically, it's again, I have to come back to this concept of young, unmature democracy just beginning. We have not been able to think as a nation in our solutions, but we keep thinking partisan, and everybody pulls the rope to their own side. And we're a multi-party system, which makes it much more complicated than it is a bipartisan system. We have 8 different parties competing, 3 very competitive, and up to 5 that have a strong support from people. So we have to make democracy deliver. And this is the third step in building your democracy. It's electoral democracy, then participative democracy, and then effective democracy. We have not reached that level yet in Mexico.
The reason I'm holding on to the question of Pemex, of this government-owned company that is the energy producer, is that there are decisions that are taken that seem unwise to some. A lack of investment in infrastructure, a lack of investment in R&D, a lack of investment in other sources of energy and renewable sources of energy. What guides the decision making, and what keeps it from being perhaps as imaginative as it could be?
Well, the guide or the aspiration is, yes, to have a successful nation, a successful economy, a wealth-creating economy, and powerful social policies in education, health, housing, to equal opportunities. That's the aspiration.
But I mean the decision-making within Pemex. What guides the decision not to invest in infrastructure or exploration or more R&D?
Well,
is that a political...
Through the time, that golden cow has been milked all along, basically to survive on the budget and government revenue. The thing is that by having the oil, that instead of an angel has become a devil, because we have not done the proper and adequate fiscal reform. Mexico's total fiscal income is 11% of gross product, the lowest in all of the Americas and one of the lowest worldwide, even comparing to African nations.